Hello. Are you excited? I'm excited. We are on number 19 of 20 things nobody tells you about losing weight and keeping it off, and especially from a Christian biblical perspective. Okay? Today, we're talking about your body and how your body isn't a trash can. And here's what I mean, okay? I have a lot of women come to me, and a lot of my clients have struggled with this. I have struggled with this. I grew up on a farm. And so it was kind of ingrained in you that you do not waste food. And I find a lot of my clients, and I did too, that we don't want to stop eating because we have this thought that if I don't eat everything on my plate, I'm wasting it. And wasting food is bad. And if I waste food, then I'm going to feel guilty because I did something bad. And we don't want to feel guilty, right? Who wants to feel guilty? So we just keep eating. But here's the truth to this. Is it bad to put food in the garbage? Is that a bad thing to do? If that's not a bad thing, then we don't need to feel guilty. If that's just an error in our thinking and in our judgment, then we don't have to feel guilty. I want you to I want you to think about this. You are either going to waste food, and I put waste in quotation marks, because even that, we get to decide what wasting is. But either you get to waste it in the garbage can, or you're going to waste the food on your body. If you're eating more food than what your body needs, your body turns that to fat. And if you're constantly overeating, you're constantly turning that to fat and never actually burning that fat for fuel, which means it's just sitting there being wasted. So, are you going to use the trash can to get rid of the excess food, or are you going to use your body to get rid of the excess food? I take my clients through this process of looking at food very differently, deciding what they're going to think about the word waste and what that means. And instead of like looking at food, just looking at what you eat every day, I really have my clients dig in and ask, why am I eating this? Is this for fuel for my body? Or am I using this food to make me feel a certain way emotionally? Like, am I just eating this so I won't have to feel guilty about wasting it? If that's my reason, I don't like that reason. Because you know what? God created food for fuel for our temples. I don't think he created food for that reason. So I don't have to feel guilty. So my clients learn how to change their thinking about food. Change the thinking that's not like supporting their body. And they change it to things like, okay, yeah, this food isn't meant for me to eat right now. It may taste good, but it's not good for my mind, my body, the long term. I don't have to feel guilty. I'm not wasting it. I'm just not eating it. It's just excess food. And God is abundant. He gives us more than we need often. And there's plenty of food for me to have. I don't need to eat this extra food right now because I can always find food tomorrow. Those are the types of thoughts my clients start learning to dwell on and think about over and over again. And I want you to think about, if you change your thinking to food, change your thinking about food to that. Here's a really good example that I had recently with a client. I had a client that had cake from her child's birthday party, and she wanted to get rid of it, but didn't want to throw it away. So she ended up hauling it a couple hours away to share with some friends, which never ended up eating it, hauled it all the way back home, and by that time, it was, like, 3, 4 days old and looking a little dilapidated. And she still did not wanna throw it. The cake was so good. You can't throw that, it'd be a waste. So, I never make my clients do anything. So, we were brainstorming, what are you gonna do with that cake? Because she didn't wanna eat it. She didn't want it sitting out for it to be tempting for her to manage her mind around it all the time. So, her one thought is, "I'm just gonna give it to some neighbors." But she said, "Actually, I don't know if I really wanna do that. It's not looking all that great." And she was a little embarrassed giving 3-day-old dilapidated cake to her neighbors. And I asked her, if she wasn't willing to give it to her neighbors, if it wasn't good enough for them, why is it good enough for her to put in her body? Because here's the deal, cake really has no nutritional value. It is only there for the experience. And part of that experience is how it looks and it tasting fresh. And after that experience, after you have that initial experience, if you keep eating it, you're only eating that cake for emotional reasons. Do you like your reasons why you're going to eat it? Because you want to feel a certain way? Well, here's the deal. Cake actually doesn't make you feel a certain way. It may, for a couple moments when you first taste it, but then it's gone. That's the point of this. Why I wanted to share this with you. Do you love your reasons for eating the food you do? Are you eating it for fuel? Or are you eating it for a short experience of celebration? Or are you dragging it out for days so it doesn't become a celebration any longer eating that cake? It's just making you feel miserable. And once you start changing how you see food, you'll treat yourself so much differently. I promise you that. Yes, you'll eat less, but you're going to eat less not because you have to, but because you want to. And it's not going to be from deprivation. When you don't have to eat less, but you want to eat less, that's when you don't feel deprived saying no. You'll feel empowered walking away from food. And so you'll do it more often and you'll really be listening to your body, being in tune with it, partnering with it, and it will repay you with energy and strength. That's the beauty of the work I do with my clients. Okay, I have some really exciting news for you that I want to share with you. If you struggle with self-sabotage, like if you struggle with self-sabotage with like cakes and treats and all of the things, like if you start doing really well, you're following some good habits, and then all of a sudden it seems like you just go off the rails, or you lose a whole bunch of weight, and then it just slowly keeps coming back on, which is all self-sabotage. If you struggle with any of those things, I have just what you need. I am doing a webinar August 15th at 11 a.m. Central Time. Come join me, and I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why self sabotage occurs. And they're not what you think they are. Once I learned these reasons, this was really empowering for me to understand really why. We think self sabotage is like it doesn't have a good reason why it occurs. No, there's actually a really good reason why self-sabotage occurs. That's why it keeps happening. So understand that reason why you keep doing it so that you can have a mindset shift so you can change it. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the mindset shifts so you can stop the self-sabotage too. And then I'm going to talk about easy and effective way to really follow through on those mindset shifts. All right, you guys, if you want to sign up, I put the link below. It's at amandakelder.com/self-sabotage, all together. So I would love for you to come join me at that webinar. Like I said, August 15th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, but you need to sign up to get the link to the webinar. So be sure to go get that link. All right. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll talk soon.